pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rest. Right now it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening for Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, and of course, iHeartRadio. A big shout out to all of my friends up in Canada, and I want to say thank you to KDK Distributors for being nice enough to get us a grant to keep us loud, proud, and strong. It is Monday, and on Mondays we like to be focusing on what this wonderful plant known as cannabis sativa can be doing for our bodies and our minds and our spirits and our souls. And we turn to experts on Mondays for Healthy Mondays. And our experts are found in the organization known as Patients Without Time. If you get a chance, please check out their organization and make a donation. They are diligently working to help patients who are out of time get their medical marijuana without being a criminal. They're also experts in the field of medical marijuana, and they know how important it is for this plant to be made available. Lynn, Mathre, and Byrne, thank you for being on the big joint broadcast today.
Thank you for inviting us again, Casper. It's a pleasure to be here, as always. And yes, Byrne and Mathre are here representing Patients Out of Time Incorporated. We're an educational charity in the United States, and our mission is the education of U.S. healthcare professionals and the general public about the therapeutic and clinical uses of cannabis. We've been around for almost 20 years now. We've been teaching accredited courses for medical doctors and registered nurses in a series of accredited conferences since the year 2000. And we presently have that education, that CME of education, online through our website, again, medicalcannabis.com. There's a direct link over to the University of California School of Medicine in San Francisco, where you will find 3 accredited courses on cannabis uses, clinical, therapeutic, etc. All of these courses have been given before at the conferences that I mentioned and have been reaccredited for online education worldwide. So if your doctor or nurse is pretty much unaware of either the uses of cannabis therapeutically or the endocannabinoid system, should make them aware that this education is available. Yes, there is a fee, but it's very reasonable. Do they need this education? Absolutely. In addition, Patients Out of Time is a really soft spot for veterans of the United States, since I am one, and so is Mary Lynn, and so is Casper, and so are hundreds and thousands of others of us. And right now, we want you to be aware that there is a survey that we need 10,000 veterans to take. Not 10,000, we've got a bunch signed up, but we need a total of 10,000. And I'd like to give you a website that you could please copy down and tell your veterans or those that love veterans or respect veterans should go to and see what's going on. And I'm going to give you the military anachronism, which is Victor Papa Tango Sierra Mike Charlie.org. Victor Papa Tango Sierra Mike Charlie.org. That's VPTSMC.org. We'd like veterans of the United States, any war, to go there and see what we need. What we need is you to sign up for a survey. And if you are a medical cannabis veteran in a medical cannabis state that is now legal, including the District of Columbia or any state that comes online in the near future, that would be really nice. Now, on Mondays, we have a long line here of experts in the cannabis field, medical experts, nursing experts, research experts, and we have another lady today who certainly fits that criteria. She comes to us from California, a medical doctor, and her name is Deborah Malka. How are you going out there today, Deborah? Is everything cool in California?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. This is my first time on the show, and I'm happy to share my good news with you.
Good. Are you okay out there? You got no water, there's hurricanes. I mean, not hurricanes, there's earthquakes. Everything okay where you are?
Actually, I'm fine, but some of the members of our group, the Society of Cannabis Clinicians, do live closer to Napa, and they're fine too.
Okay. Well, we'll get to them in a minute, or maybe a few minutes. But I usually we always start actually with this puff question when we bring on an expert, and that is simply, would you give us some of your background, how you got to be in the medical field, and then how did you migrate or get into the medical cannabis industry or field of medicine?
Well, that's a bit of a long story, so I'll try to make it concise. I have been interested in alternative or integrative medicine my whole life, and I entered into that arena through the natural medicine doorway. I was a student at a school in New Mexico called the Santa Fe College of Natural Medicine, and I pretty much learned that herbs, nutrition, lifestyle, all kinds of complementary factors were really important in health. So I'm one of those few doctors that came committed to alternatives. After that, I became an MD, and I got my training also in New Mexico at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. And I was committed to this alternative path throughout my career. I became board certified in integrative holistic medicine, and I was used to treating my patients with just about everything I could come up with that was not a pharmaceutical. That puts me probably in 0.0001% of most doctors, but that's my interest. So at a time when the economy was having some difficulties back in the middle 2000s, my private practice was slowing down. I ran a holistic medical clinic in Santa Cruz, California for about 20 years, and a good friend of mine was serving as a medical cannabis physician, and she said, well, we can use someone to pick up some extra shifts. So I started at one shift a week, and over a period of 2 years, from about 2006 to 2007, I switched to doing cannabis medical evaluations almost full-time, but never leaving my alternative holistic approach behind. During this time, I advanced to become medical director of a large group of cannabis evaluation clinics. They're called Medican Incorporated. They have 30 clinics throughout California, and during my time there, I was supervising about 30 physicians and 300,000 patients. So I got to know a lot of information about what our patients here in California were doing with cannabis during my time at Medican. I have since left that organization and opened a private practice. It's called Cannabis Plus. The plus is the alternative information that I give my patients in addition to what cannabis can do for them. We talk about other holistic treatments. So I'm a happy camper because now I get to talk about cannabis and everything else. As a matter of fact, since I work for myself, I get to talk about anything I want, and that has made one huge advance for me that's really important, and I'd like to point that out. We are constrained here as physicians in the cannabis world not to indicate to our patients where to get medicine or exactly what to take. This is a result of a national decision called the Conant decision, which said that physicians shall not be prosecuted for discussing cannabis with their patients, but if they help them get it or help them find out where to get it, that's called aiding and abetting the purchase of a federally illegal substance. So most physicians who work for most evaluation clinics cannot tell their patients where to go to get medicine and how to take it. Personally, I felt that was interfering with my duty to my patients, and I do want them to know what I want them to have. So I went out on my own, and that's what I'm doing. So my practice is here in Santa Cruz, California, and in Monterey, California. And to date, I've seen about 25,000 medical cannabis patients in my career since 2006 to now. There's one other thing you should know about me as far as my history. Before I did clinical work, I thought I might want to go into research. So I got a a PhD in molecular genetics from Columbia University. That was back in the day, in my 20s. And that has come in handy because I have research training. Part of my job at Medican was to review research articles on cannabis medical education and review them, summarize them, and present them to our doctors. Which brings me to where I am today as a member of the Society of Cannabis Clinicians, a group of doctors mostly in California, although we are nationwide, who are interested in learning from evidence-based medicine, who are interested in learning from reports of how cannabis medicine can be used to help our patients. And our group decided that we wanted to spread this education far and wide, and they chose me to be education director since I have taught physicians and since I have gone through eons of research articles. So we put together an educational program to train physicians now in cannabis medical education. That's pretty much from all the way back there up till now.
Okay, let me check back just a little bit. You said at one point you had looked at the records of over 300,000 cannabis patients. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's a real big number.
That is a real big number.
Did you guys have some sort of a percentile breakdown about what all these patients were using cannabis for? I mean, X% for pain, X% for spasticity, or anything like that?
Yes, we did. One of the doctors in our group, Dr. Helen Lynn, got a grant from Rand Corporation, and did an epidemiological study from our records where she recorded what the diagnoses were, what the demographics were, and this has been published in 2010, I believe, a survey of cannabis use in a group of 9 medical cannabis clinics in California, and I was actually a physician working at this organization at the time. I was assistant medical director at that time. And what we found was that chronic pain, of course, was the most common condition that cannabis was used for in California because we're allowed to approve it for chronic pain. The second most common condition was insomnia. And as a matter of fact, I'll be speaking at the Denver Conference, Medical Marijuana for Professionals, coming up in September on these 2 conditions in particular. They approached me and asked me, well, what do you want to talk about? And I said, well, you have all of these esoteric conditions, but how about the ones that people, most of the people use it for? Pain and insomnia. And so that's what my talk's going to be about.
Well, good, because I'm a real booster of cannabis for proper sleep, or at least for people that have trouble sleeping, insomnia, post-traumatic stress, and anything that causes sleep disruption. My personal experience, and I've heard testimony of hundreds, if not thousands, of people that it just helps you sleep, period.
Yeah, I would say that about 40% of the patients I see use it before they go to bed. It's real common, very common here in California, because we are allowed to approve cannabis for any serious condition for which the physician feels the patient might receive benefit. It's a very loose law we have here in California, and it's allowed us to see so many patients for so many conditions.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to say, we've always said that that's one of the great things about the California law. Instead of legislators telling doctors what they can use something for, it's like allowing physicians to use your medical judgment.
Yeah, listen, we got to take a break here in a minute, but I completely agree with both of you. I mean, I can't stress this enough to the listeners out there. And I don't know, I think I might even challenge your logic or your language a little, doctor, because as I understand it, in the United States, that's what doctors do. They use their judgment and their experience and what the patient is telling them what's going on to utilize the proper techniques, medicine, etc. And I don't think cannabis should be any different than any of the other 500,000 pharmaceuticals that you can use in that fashion. I think that's what we expect of our doctors and nurses, judgment. But my judgment right now is that we're going to go on a break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
And I want to remind people that we are not just a 1-hour broadcast that can be tuned in and listened to, but we are also a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week, around-the-clock broadcasting network where we have about 40 hosts who are putting out over 60 hours a week of original content about the need to end prohibition. And with that said, please make it a point to share us with your friends. When we come back, we're going to listen to a song about how fantastic marijuana is, and then we're going to pick up with our conversation here at Time for Hemp. You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
Sometimes it's just a matter of time. You've got left for goodbyes, and you don't want to cry, but it burns. Sometimes it just comes down to the heart of the matter. I want to feel better. Could a plant be the answer? Heal me. Heal me. I need a weed to wrap itself around me when I think about looking down, seeing you living without me. You are my medicine, helping me with everything I need. I'm healed. Heal me. Heal me. I can feel you healing me. I can feel you healing me. Sometimes it's just a matter of time. You've got left for goodbyes, and you don't want to cry, but it burns. Sometimes it just comes down to the heart of the matter.
That was Heal Me, and I believe that the lady who put that together is part of the Patients Out of Time organization. Is that right, Mary Lynn and Al?
Yes, thank you very much, Casper. That's Greta Gaines. She's on our advisory board and wrote that song for Patients Out of Time. It seems to fit really well.
It is a beautiful,
we really thank her.
It is a beautiful song, and we don't get the opportunity to listen to it in its entirety very often. So I thought perhaps this might be a groovy time to play it today. Now, I also want to remind people that Mary Lynn and Al have on their website accredited programming that if you are getting your degree in medicine, or you're striving to become a nurse or working in some sort of medical profession, they have a variety of classes on their website that you can take and apply credits to your curriculum. Isn't that correct?
Yes, I thought you were going to interrupt to that, Marilyn, but no, okay. Yes, that is correct. www.medicalcannabis.com is a direct link over to that education, that online education. There's also a wealth of education just at the website. There's all sorts of drop-down stuff that will explain the endocannabinoid system, the relationship that the cannabis plant has to it. There's articles of veterans. There's articles there on how to use cannabis for pets. There's all kinds of stuff there. Just check it out. But essentially what we're there to do is to educate you, the public and healthcare professional, about the clinical and therapeutic uses of cannabis and its relationship to the endocannabinoid system. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you really need to go there and start finding out. There's supposed to be right now about 2.5 million people listening to my voice throughout the world, actually on iHeartRadio. And all of you folks have an endocannabinoid system, each one of you. I've heard from some of you folks, you're in Italy, you're in Finland, you're in Japan, you all have an endocannabinoid system, just like Dr. Malka and Mary Lynn does. And what we have here, of course, is Mary Lynn, the founder and president of the American Cannabis Nurses Association. But Dr. Malka is one of the founding members of, why don't you go from there, Doctor?
Hi. I'm actually not a founding member, but I am on the board of directors of the Society of Cannabis Clinicians. Todd Nicolia was one of the founding members of that organization, and it came to pass that several of the cannabis clinicians in California wanted to get together and further efforts at research and education so that we could learn what we need to know, because there's no one else to learn it.
Well, first off, Dr. Nicolia, for those that don't know, is everybody's hero, medical doctor hero in this issue of educating America again about the medical uses of cannabis. And I'm very proud to say that Dr. Nicolia was a member of the Board of Advisors of Patients Out of Time right out of the get-go, and spoke at more than one of our conferences, lent his prestige and his wisdom to us as a neophyte organization, and we are forever grateful to him. Of course, he's gone now, which is terrible, but the fact that you've carried on with his excellence and his dream, Doctor, you and your cohorts is commendable. And tell the folks out there more about why you're doing it, what you're doing, who you're doing it, all of that.
Okay. Well, we have been struggling to learn a lot about cannabis clinical therapeutics. We go to Patients Out of Time conferences. There's a core group of us clinicians who are thirsty for knowledge, and we decided at the SCC, Society of Cannabis Clinicians, that we wanted to share what we know. So we decided to put together a course called Clinical Cannabinoid Medicine, and we wanted to put it online so people wouldn't have to leave their locality, so they could sit at their computer and learn. And we are in process of having this come online. It should be available by October 2014. Clinical Cannabinoid Medicine. It's a 12-credit CME-approved accredited course, and it will be distributed at medicalcannabisinstitute.com. Now, having said that, you can't...
Is that going to be .com or .org?
I thought it was .com, but what I was just going to say is that it's not up yet because it's not totally done. So, yes, it is. It's Sci-Tent, powered by Sci-Tent, Medical Cannabis Institute.
So, all right, just to be correct, it is .org. Medicalcannabisinstitute.org is what I think we've all decided is going to be the proper call sign there.
Well,
go ahead.
We had this conversation. I've been really busy these past few weeks putting together, getting all of the information together. I am the program course director. And what's interesting about this course is that it is a curriculum. It's a little bit different than faculty presenters coming to a conference and talking about what they know. We actually generated a curriculum, steps 1 through 12, presented in sequence so that someone who is new to cannabis medical education could take this course and learn everything they need to know by taking one module at a time. So I'd like to give you the titles of our modules so you know what will be covered. The first one is called History of Cannabis as Medicine Through Current Drug Policy Issues. The second one goes into endocannabinoids and cannabinoid receptors. The third one is titled Cannabis the Plant, a Phytocannabinoid Medicine. The fourth one is titled Pharmacology of Cannabis and Physiologic Effects of Phytocannabinoids. The fifth one is titled Delivery, Dosing, and Product Recommendation. Then we come to a series of clinical practice modules. 6 is Clinical Practice 1 concerning pain, neuropathic pain, inflammatory orders, and opiate substitution. The next one is Clinical Practice 2 concerning insomnia, glaucoma, and immune disorders. The next one, Clinical Practice 3, concerns movement disorders and neurodegenerative diseases. Clinical Practice 4 is mental health conditions. Clinical Practice 5, which is the 10th of our modules, concerns cancer and palliative care. The next one, which is Clinical Practice 6, has our very own Lynn Mathre as a presenter, and this is titled Cannabis Use Disorders and Precautions, and Lynn will be speaking about cannabis use disorders. And this is the segment where you have to know when not to use cannabis. And the last module is 3 case reports, clinical case study reviews, and we have in here specific conditions that we haven't been able to approach above or that are particularly illustrative of how to conduct the clinical practice, and that includes cannabis use in pediatric seizure disorders, cannabis use for pain and opiate reduction, and cannabis use in elderly patient 103 years old with nausea. That patient is mine, and we actually got her on videotape. So this is going to be a great course. Wait, I'm not finished. We have a bonus module for all participants who sign up to take all 12 modules. You can do one at a time and get 1 CME credit per module. But if you take all 12 at no added cost, you get our bonus module, which is offered by Dr. Raphael Mathre from Israel, entitled Introduction to 20th Century Cannabinoid Chemistry. So that's our course, and it will be up probably by the end of September at medicalcannabisinstitute.org.
There you go. Hey, well, that sounds really interesting, and I want to go into that in a broader sense, but I have to ask this question, and I know what your answer is going to be, but I got to ask it. On that module that you're dealing with, I forget how you described it, but psychological, emotional issues, certainly we're hoping...
Mental health.
Mental health, thank you. Post-traumatic stress?
Yes, that's definitely in there. And you may be familiar with our presenter. His name is Dr. Christopher Fitchner. And he has a lot of experience with cannabis and PTSD patients.
Yes, he does. And
yes, he does. That will be in there.
Good. Well, I knew it was, but that's part of my job to keep bringing up veterans. That's what I do. It's part of my job.
But I think for the listeners there, the course, the whole thing sounds really wonderful. I just, it's pretty much a Cannabis 101 for medical professionals. Excellent. And that bonus, people, if you don't know, I mean, having Raphael Meshulam talking about anything on cannabis is a clear bonus.
Yeah, he is the grandfather of medical cannabis knowledge. He absolutely is. He started his research in the 1960s. He's an Israeli professor. And his everything, I'll make two statements that are both true. When this thing is all over and cannabis is a recognized medicine worldwide, including the United States, everything will circle back to two entities. One will be Dr. Raphael Meshulam, and the next will be Patients at a Time. That's my soothsayer for the day.
And I'm just so pleased that we were not only able to include him in our course, but that we decided to give it out for free. You know, if you want to learn cannabis medicine, you can get CNEs for all of this information for each module, but there is no charge for his dissemination if you become a participant in our course, and I'm so happy to be able to gift the world with that.
Yeah, I think that's great, because you're right. What we have done over the past 20 years and what you're doing now is a different program. And we've always been interdisciplinary. We'll probably stay that way. I can't imagine that changing. And we're here to present the latest science, the latest clinical uses, the latest patient, whatever. Whereas you're there to begin the process that, frankly, doctor, should be happening 20 years ago in every medical school in the United States.
Well, I do have something to add about that, Al. As a matter of fact, when I was involved with the University of New Mexico, I actually worked on an NIH grant that was submitted to bring integrative medicine funding into the university, and I worked with the Dean of Education, who has become a friend and a mentor. And I am having conversations with him about how to bring cannabis medical education into medical school communities. So that's going to be my next project when I come up for air.
Well, I have heard some good news about that from Jehan Maku. I think it was Jehan that said that where he graduated from Temple University in Philadelphia now does actually offer a course on medical cannabis and the endocannabinoid system in their medical school, which will be the first one in the country.
Oh, that's news to me. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it is, because we found out last year from, I think maybe you know Dr. David Allen, but he did a survey on his own dime of the 157 medical schools in the United States. And at that time, prior to Temple, nobody had a course on that. Nobody had a course on the endocannabinoid system, doctor, 20 years after its discovery. I found that astounding.
It's a shame. It's a shame that very basic science knowledge is being non-disseminated due to political factors. That's crazy.
Yeah. So again, all the listeners out there, this course, do we have a date yet, Debbie? It's going to be in September, right?
October.
Oh, October. Okay. Sorry, I missed that.
as in all things, we were hoping for September, but, October would be a sure bet. Vacation during the summer, everybody's taking a little longer to get their stuff in, but we'll have it out there for you within a month.
Well, that's right in time, actually, for Florida education, because their vote on the amendment down there to have medical cannabis part of the Constitution for citizens of Florida to be able to get medical cannabis to be part of it is going to be part of the Constitution. The vote is on November 4. So if you can get your, like Marilyn says, it sounded more like Cannabis 102, 101, 102 maybe than just 101. I mean, they're going into some really good stuff there.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff in here. We have the best minds that we could pull together to come share what they know, and it's organized very easy to understand. And I urge all primary care physicians even who just want to know what their patients are asking them about to take this course, because it's the patients that are driving this.
Okay, I think girls, ladies, we're late for break. I'm sorry. I think Casper's probably chomping over there someplace. I'm sorry, we got to take a break right now. Again, in a few minutes, and then we'll be back with Dr. Deborah Malka to wind up the show, folks. Come back and stay with us.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Consciousness, that's all we ask, is that you stay focused on the world around you and be responsible. Good golly, Miss Molly, it's just pretty simple, you know? You don't need to regulate people who regulate themselves. With that said, we're going to return back to this joint conversation with my joint host here on the Big Joint Broadcast. And don't forget, anytime you hear the word joint on Time for Hemp, nearly 2.5 million people all around the world pack their bongs, their pipes, their vaporizers, and of course, twist up a joint and take Time for Hemp. Marilyn, Al, we appreciate having you as the joint host today on the Big Broadcast, and we are falling in love with our new joint friend who is your guest here on Time for Hemp.
Yes, we very much appreciate our new friend here, Deborah Malka, to the audience. Dr. Malka, we want to talk, I think, take advantage a little bit of your experience with all of the patients that you've had, and maybe talk a little bit about some of the patients in particular. I think we were talking earlier that maybe first to speak about the elderly and how they're using it, any problems you're seeing, and how's it helping. the elderly population.
You know, I got a tougher question, Deborah.
Okay.
But it's serious. It's serious because it's said about people like you all the time. You have, as I understand, you've treated some 30,000 patients over the years with cannabis. Am I correct?
30,000 patient visits. A lot of them are renewals, but I guess it amounts to about 20,000 patients. Yeah.
Okay, then here's a question, because this is what you can get accused of. Why aren't you just a cannabis mill doctor? Why isn't that all you are?
Well, that's why I opened my private practice, so that I could spend my time with my patients reviewing anything they wanted to go into. I am a cannabis consultant physician. I'm not their primary care physician, but they can come and talk to me not only about cannabis, but they can consult with me about any issues for their health that they want feedback on. And this is a new genre in cannabis medical evaluations, because many of my patients, they don't just come once a year. They come several times a year because I'm helping them. And it turns out that in order to use cannabis effectively as a medicine, it's very important to have feedback from your cannabis physician more than once a year, because most people aren't doing it right.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. That's what I knew you'd say something like that. But I mean, you understand that is
That's what they tried to, they accused Nicoria of.
Yeah, I mean, because you become an expert, therefore you're like running some kind of puppy mill or something. You know, you're a big negative. Like you're handing out prescription drugs like they do or something. And it just pisses me off. So thank you for straightening that out.
Well, I must say that there are many cannabis physicians out there that do run their visits as a Dr. Mill, and here in California we have made repeated attempts to get the California Medical Board to clamp down on these physicians, and they're just not interested. And that's why we're working so hard to get education out there, so that maybe these doctors will learn something that they can share with their patients.
Well, that's right. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I mean, that's what the SCC is all about, isn't it? Just like with the American Cannabis Nurses Association, just like with patients out of time, the idea is to education to build legitimacy.
Exactly. And, it's the patients that are going to drive this movement. Patients want to know how to use their medicine, and if they don't find out from a Dr. Mill, they'll find somebody else who knows, who will help them.
I agree. I'm with you. I mean, that's patients at a time. That's why we have patience as the first word.
Yeah, well, I've been since I first got introduced to this arena. I've been coming since 2006, and I just have learned so much at the Patients Out of Time conferences. They're invaluable.
I think what Meredith and I both think, that what you guys are branching out to do to hit on the MDs and to bring that kind of a lesson plan to them where they can learn about things in the proper sequence is it's amazing. It's great. It's right on time.
I don't want to say that I worked really hard in my career to be taken seriously, because I know that alternative medicine in general, many physicians can think of me like as a flake, or I'm doing something substandard or non-standard. But it's really hard to call me a flake with a PhD in genetics from Columbia University. And, we need people that have strong science backgrounds to come into this field, that really can promote the science in it and get some of the academicians to understand that this is no joke.
Well, listen, if there's somebody out there that's calling you a flake, you can identify them right now, and, it's okay. I think that, the goal for the original founders of Patients Out of Time was to have an educational reverse pyramid built, if you will, where a few people would listen to us and they would believe and they would go forward. And I cite all the time the mayor of Santa Barbara when we had our conference there. She was a very nice lady, and she said, what I need you all to do in this audience is to pay attention and go forth and multiply. And you guys have multiplied, and that's great.
Well, and I just wanted to say to the public, the general public listening out there, to remember medicalcannabisinstitute.org, and ask your physician, or let your physician know to take this course. You want your physician to be educated on it, so go online, take the course. Now, can we
I want to share with you one other avenue that I've been using to help educate my patients. And I actually do dispensary trainings. The Santa Cruz, California area has about 10 different dispensaries, and I've been to about 6 of them. Anyone who would respond positively, they all didn't, but I go to the dispensaries and I talk to them about the science of medical cannabis and about how I recommend what I do for my patients, and try to get some of these folks that are on the line behind the counter to understand more about what they're telling the patients to get. This is the biggest loophole, the glitch in our system now, is that if doctors aren't telling patients what to get, they're either going to have to find out by YouTube, or they're going to have to be at the risk of these very young, usually bud tenders that are behind the dispensary counter who really do not have enough training. So that's exactly one of our next efforts, is to get the people that dispense the medicine. I think they should have to take a course before they get to do what they do, but since none exists, except for Amsterdam, of course, we do what we can locally. I know that a lot of the doctors in the SEC do dispensary trainings, and I'm really proud to say that.
That's excellent. And are you familiar with United Patients Group?
I am.
I know one of them. Go ahead.
They're one of our members, actually. They come to our meetings. We have 4 meetings a year where we have educational speakers come, and they come. They want to learn.
Yeah, and I think what's good about them is that's what they like to be, this go-between, and that's one of the things they look at too, are how many dispensaries do they really know what they're doing, and try to guide patients to those dispensaries that tend to have educated staff, or take the time to make sure their staff know what they're doing, as opposed to young bud tenders that know how to get high but don't necessarily know this elderly patient needing it for sleep may be different than this young one needing it for spasms or something, to help to totally know what they're doing.
Unfortunately, most of the dispensary people do not have adequate training, and that's something that we're all going to have to pay attention to change that. I've actually had some serious negative consequences come to some of my patients who've gone to dispensaries where I told them exactly what I wanted them to have, and they got something different, and it does not work out well. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I've read a couple of articles that have been published on that very issue where I contended, I'm not picking on anybody, but I've just said that, ladies that work in beauty parlors that clean people's nails or work on their hands and stuff have to be licensed. And we've got people in these dispensaries that are handing out what is, I believe, a very, very legitimate medicine, and they don't have a license. They might not have any training. Maybe they work at a great dispensary. There are some wonderful dispensaries. I'm not knocking everybody here. Don't start that stuff on me. But, how much training does everybody have? And I'm really going to pick on the doctors and the nurses, because at this point in time, I'm a retired soldier, sailor. And I know more about cannabis as medicine than 99.9% of the doctors and nurses in the world, and that's not right.
Right, but the problem we have here, as Deborah said earlier, is the California law. You're in private practice, and good for you, because that's what I want every physician to look at and have, do what you're doing, because it's right for the patient. But by law, they're not supposed to tell the patient where to go. So it's not as though you can have the doctor in the dispensary working, which is stupid, but
Well, Lynn, it's not really California law. It's federal law. That was a federal decision, so that's going to apply to every single state in this country.
Well, I guess
it's the same thing. The Veterans Administration allows veterans in legal states to use cannabis, but their doctors can't talk to them about it. They can't use it on federal property. I mean, the whole thing is a friggin' joke. You know, the thing that gets me about this is that we have medical cannabis decisions that are being made by lawyers and cops. You guys, I'm sorry, you guys as medical doctors have totally abrogated your responsibility in this area. And then not you, but the medical doctors of the country.
AMA.
The AMA, whoever, have walked away from their honest-to-God responsibility in this, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But we have these people that have no medical degrees making up these ridiculous rules about a plant, which they keep calling a drug. The whole thing is so absurd. And what it comes down to, people, if you haven't got it yet, is that we should be coming to the awareness that the prohibition of this plant in this country is not based upon facts. That's the hard reality. It's a prohibition that is not based upon facts. Now, you can make what it is based on. It really doesn't matter to me. It's not based on facts, therefore it's bullshit.
Well,
so we have to just get beyond it.
I need to jump in here because one thing that is a fact is we are down to the end of the program, and we need to give a shout-out for our URLs.
So, Deborah, do you want to give a shout-out for the FCC as well as the course place?
Sure. You can find the FCC at cannabisclinicians.org. You can find our course at medicalcannabisinstitute.org. And you can find my website at cannabisplus.net. There are hundreds of research articles in their entirety that I put on there to share with the public. And thank you for listening to me today.
And Mary Lynn.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Deborah. And Patients Out of Time, we're at medicalcannabis.com. Again, you can go there not only to find information about Patients Out of Time, but also the link to the UCSF site where our conference courses are available for CME accreditation. And as with the FCC joining the Medical Cannabis Institute, Patients Out of Time will be having courses from our 2014 conference online when that finally comes about in October as well. So there's education out there, people. It's going to be available. Any healthcare professionals, we hope you go check it out. Patients, you certainly can learn some, but again, urge your own healthcare professional to learn more about cannabis if they're going to take care of you.
And until next week on Sunday and Monday, same time, same place. This is Patients Out of Time and Time for Hemp saying thank you. Support our advertisers, please. Thank you, Dr. Malka, and until then, folks, take care.
And remember, the next time you hear me, you'll know that it's time for hemp.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look and spend some time for him.
All right. Yeah, here you go, bro. Let me hit that, man. Hell yeah. Wow. Play it, boy, come on. Help him out, say what? Yeah. First thing you do when you get out of bed is take a big toke to ease your head. You light 'em up. Light 'em up. Come on, if your boss is a fucking jerk, then you better get high before you go to work. You light 'em up. I better get high here. Light 'em up. If they only give you a half hour for lunch, get a QT burrito and a Hawaiian punch and light 'em up. Light 'em up. Yeah, what you gonna do when you clock out? You gonna get in your car, turn your stereo up loud and light 'em up. Light 'em up. Light 'em up. Don't let them tell
that blunt. Hand me the mic, man. Afro, man, I'm in need, so I'ma call Johnny Reaper Seed. I need some weed to deal with life. I'm getting a divorce from my wife. I live every day on the road. On my back is a heavy load. I can't do a show unless I'm high. My eyelids glow, you can't see my eye. If I get mad as hell, the police man throw me in jail. So that's why I get real high. Afro man, a real nice guy. I'm a marijuana Christian, you know what I mean? My pastor is Reverend Ray Green. Singing on the mic with the bong holders. Johnny Reaper Seed at the high road. Yeah. Hey man, Reverend, break it down, Reverend. He's breaking it down. He rolling it out. Yeah. Alright, yeah, check.
If your old lady's getting on your case, don't get mad and spit in the face. Light 'em up.
Light 'em up, man. Go ahead and
light 'em up.
Yeah.
If your car breaks down in the freezing snow and you gotta pay $100 just to get a tow, light 'em up.
And what if you can't get a cab?